Good morning, Year 4, and welcome to today's reading lesson. So we're on to our inference questions, as always today. But first of all, we're going to recap our vocabulary for the week. So you can see the words on your screen now and the meanings. If you'd like to pause, you can. But if you feel like you're ready, then we're going to go on and look at the words and the actions again together. Okay. So I'm going to say the word and I would like you at home to do the action, and I'm going to think a little bit more about what they mean today as well. So the first word I'd like you to do is looming. Looming. So hopefully at home you're looming over something. So remember, it means to come into view. So in the book it was describing Vesuvius looming in the distance. It's often to describe something that's quite threatening as well. The next word, can you show me the action for squat? Squat. So hopefully you're bending down to the floor now. So squatting is where we crouch really low to the floor. So we might squat when we're bending down to speak to someone that's smaller than us, maybe a child, like in the nursery, or it might be when we're getting something off the floor. So we squat really low down. It might be when you're hiding behind something, when you're playing a game outside. The next word, can you show me the action for glimmer? Glimmer. So we should be doing this. So remember, things that might glimmer are stars or street lights. So small flicker of light. Or we might even say a glimmer of hope, when you've got a little bit of hope as well. The next word, can you show me grumble? Grumble. So we should be rubbing our bellies. So we often say we've got a grumbling sound. Can you think of anything else that might grumble? What else might grumble? So you might say that people can grumble when they're moaning. Might be a grumbling noise when people are moaning about something, or thunder might grumble in the distance as well. It's that low grumbling noise. Okay, the next word, can you show me the action for haggling? Haggling. Hopefully you're doing this. So it's when you're trying to get a cheaper price for something. So I want you to think, would I haggle for something in Tesco's? Would I haggle for something in Tesco's? Now you might think, well, that's where I buy things, but generally not, because supermarkets have prices that you have to pay for. So I wouldn't haggle there, but I might haggle in somewhere like a market. That's where we'd usually see that, where we can get a cheaper price for something. Can you show me now the action for protector? Protector. Well done. So you should be showing a bit like a security guard standing in the way, so it's someone who's protecting you against danger. Can you show me unloading? Unloading. Good, so we should be doing this. We're unloading. So if I'm putting things onto a van, am I unloading them? No, absolutely not. It's when I'm taking them off. I'm unloading. It means I'm taking them off. And the last one that we've not done is humming. Humming. So you might be making a humming noise at home. So it's a low continuous sound. Okay, fantastic. Hopefully you're really getting to know those words now and all the different contexts that we can use them in. So what we're going to do today is, first of all, start with our do now. We're going to be looking at skimming and scanning the text for particular words. So I'm going to pop up the text and you can have this in front of you, or you can use the one on the screen. Just going to zoom in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a word on the page, and I would like you to skim and scan and find that. So remember, we're not reading every single word, we're just looking for that particular word, because it's going to really help us when we come and find our keywords in our question. So I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to find it and see if you can find it as quickly as you can. So can you find the word? Can you find the word massive? Okay, hopefully you have skimmed and scanned and found it here. Well done if you got that before I stopped. Okay, on to the next page. So a short piece of text now, so I'm just going to give you slightly less time to find this one. Can you find me the word mouth? Mouth. Okay, hopefully you found it by now. It was in the middle here. So let's see if you can get a bit quicker on the next one. Okay, a bit longer text this one. Oh, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit because we can't see that whole page. Hopefully you can see that one. So can you find me the word now? Can you find me the word remembered? Remembered. Okay, hopefully you've had time to skim and scan. It was here. Well done if you managed to get that one a bit longer, that text this time. Okay, let's do one more on the final page. I'm going to zoom in again. So looking at this piece of text, can you find me the word curling? Curling. Okay, hopefully you found that one. It is here. Well done if you managed to get all of those. Okay, so before we go on to our inference questions, we're going to read through the text again. So I'm going to be asking you to read some as well out loud at home to make sure that you're practicing. So make sure you're ready. On a hillside overlooking the sparkling Bay of Naples, the Roman city of Pompeii glimmered in the sunlight. So remember, glimmered, our action. It's shining in the sunlight. From his window, young Tranio listened to the noise humming from bars, taverns and shops around him, and to the busy tradesmen haggling in the streets below. Beyond the massive city walls, he could see Pompeii's greatest protector looming in the distance. They called it Vesuvius, the gentle mountain. Could anyone feel safer than here? Tranio wondered. Was anything more beautiful? Okay, so what I'd like you to do now, I'm just going to leave that on the screen, or you've got your sheet at home. Can you just read through this section? You might want to pause the video and come back when you're ready. Off you go. Okay, well done. So moving on to the next part. Sometimes Tranio went to the forum to watch the politicians make their speeches, the stallholders argue, and listen to the poets sing. His favourite song was Rumble down, tumble down, great city walls, feel the ground grumble, the citizens stumble, when the earth shakes and the rumble down, tumble down. Everyone would join in, laughing as they remembered the earthquake tremors. A few years before Tranio was born, there had been a big earthquake in Pompeii, and parts of the town had still not yet been fully repaired. But nobody took the tremors seriously anymore. Okay, so again, I'd like you to read this final paragraph. Off you go. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to read that. Make sure you haven't paused the video again if you're not quite ready, because you need to make sure that you understand the text before we answer the questions. Okay, so before we go into our inference questions, we're going to look at some examples together. So I've got my steps to success here, and we're going to look at two different types of questions. So remember, inference, it's not necessarily going to be as obvious, the answer for some of the questions, so you're going to really have to read around it and think about what's going on. So first question is find and copy the word that tells you that you could see the Bay of Naples from Pompeii. So something really important I'm going to be doing is finding and copying word. So I'm looking for one word. Remember, we've really practiced this at school. It's not a phrase, which is a group of words. We're just looking for one word that tells you that you could see the Bay of Naples from Pompeii. There's quite a few things to underline there, because those are my keywords that I'm going to be looking for. So something to do with seeing the Bay of Naples from Pompeii. So I'm looking for that in my text. So I'm going to go to scan. So I know this first bit here, it says Bay of Naples, Pompeii. So I think this is going to be the part that's going to help me. So I'm going to read now around the keywords. So I've found my keywords. I'm going to read around them now. On a hillside overlooking the sparkling Bay of Naples, the Roman city of Pompeii glimmered in the sunlight. So I'm looking for something in that tells me you can see Naples from Pompeii. So something to do with seeing. So I've got the word looking there. So that kind of tells me that's something to do with seeing, because I know the word look is to see. So I'm just going to read again to check that that makes sense. On a hillside overlooking the sparkling Bay of Naples, the city of Pompeii glimmered in the sunlight. So that one I think makes sense because Glimmered is describing Pompeii, and that's the only other word in there that I might not be sure of. So I know this one means that it's overlooking, you can see it from Pompeii. So if I'm just finding and copy the word, I just need to copy it directly from the text. So my answer is overlooking. Okay, let's look at another example. Slightly different question this time. Why do you think they called Vesuvius the gentle mountain? So remember, because it's inference, it's asking me why do you think, but I'm not just going to guess. I'm not going to say because I thought it's a cool name for the mountain. I still need to go back to the text and think about why those people in the story called it that. I'm not just making the answer up. So why do you think they called Vesuvius the gentle mountain? So that's my keyword. And now I'm going to skim and scan for that in the text. So if I look carefully through, oh, I know the gentle mountain is here. So I'm just going to underline that. Now remember, the answer's not going to be there, so I do now need to make sure that I'm reading around the keywords to try and find out what the answer is. So I'm going to go back a little bit to the beginning of that sentence. They called it Vesuvius, the gentle mountain. So that's told me they call it that. I don't know why yet. Could anyone feel safer here? Trainio wondered. Was anything more beautiful? And then also it said before that I could get some more information. Beyond the massive city walls, he could see Pompeii's greatest protector looming in the distance. So it gives me some idea there. They're calling it the greatest protector. And also he says it makes him feel safe. And was anything more beautiful? So I've got quite a lot of information there, but I need to now think about putting it in my own words that it makes sense. So why do you think they called Vesuvius the gentle mountain? So I'm going to put this in a full sentence. I think they called it the gentle mountain because, now I think it's because it made them feel safe, because they called it protector, and also trainers described it there as beautiful. Okay, however, because it's saying it's gentle, that might not necessarily mean that it's to do something to do with beautiful. So I think because that makes them feel safe. It's gentle, it makes them feel safe. Makes them feel safe. And they are not threatened by it. I'm going to add that on as well, because we know from later on in the story that they're not afraid of the mountain. Okay, I'm just going to check that my answer makes sense and does it answer the question. So I think they called it the gentle mountain because it makes them feel safe and they are not threatened by it. So I think that explains why it's gentle. They're not scared of this mountain, as we know something might happen later on in the story, but at this point they're finding it a nice mountain to look at. It's making them feel safe. Okay, so you're going to go off and do your questions, now. So you've got the questions in your home learning document. So make sure you're reading the questions carefully, following those steps to success, and going through and finding the keywords. Make sure that your answer makes sense at the end as well. When you're ready, you can come back and we're going to go through the answers together. So off you go. Good luck. Come back when you're ready. Okay, so hopefully you have managed to have a go at the questions. Let's have a look at the answers together. So the first one was find and copy the word that suggests Vesuvius was the best protector for Pompeii. So the answer to that one was greatest. It said it was the greatest protector looming in the distance. How do you know that Trainio liked living in Pompeii? So he says, as we looked at in the model question before, that he feels safe and it's beautiful. You might have only got one of those answers. That's absolutely fine. Number 3, why do you think Trainio's family lived near the theatre district on Pompeii? So theatre, if you weren't quite sure, is obviously where people go to watch shows and people are actors. And if you remember in the story and you've gone back and checked, it said that his parents were actors. So it'd be probably really useful for them to live near where they work. Number 4, find and copy the word that suggests that Tranio should not be in the harbour. Which word says he should not be there? So the word was sneak, because if you're sneaking around, you definitely shouldn't be there. How do you know that the people of Pompeii don't take the tremors seriously anymore? So how do you know they're not taking it seriously? So they were laughing about it. They were singing songs, they were laughing about it. So obviously they're not scared by it. They don't think that they're very serious or dangerous. Number 6, find and copy the phrase that tells you that you could still see the damage. So you can still see it, and it's a phrase we're looking for. So a group of words this time. So it should be not yet fully been repaired. That's telling me it's not been fixed yet. They're still damaged. Number 7, why do you think no one took the tremors seriously anymore? So we know that they don't take them seriously, but why? So it was because they hadn't happened in a long time. Okay, it could be because they're small and they didn't cause a lot of damage, but they didn't take them seriously anymore because it's been so long since one has happened. Okay, and they've not been very dangerous. Number 8, find and copy the word that tells you they played knuckle bones on the ground. So thinking about your key vocab here, it should have been squat, because we know that they're kneeling down, bending down to the floor. Okay, so you've got your extension note at the bottom as well, if you want to have a go at that, which is writing a paragraph to describe what you might do on a hot, sunny Roman day in Roman Pompeii. So you might want to do that in a style of a diary entry, describing what you know so far from the story. Okay, well done everybody. Make sure you post your work to Seesaw once you've marked it so that your teachers can see how you're getting on, and we'd love to see some of you having a go at the extension. Have a lovely day and enjoy the rest of your lessons. Bye.